always, Freddy. Yes, friends, we are still celebrating Pride Month this month, and this entry is probably what you wouldn't expect to be celebrated during Pride Month. But honestly, even during Pride Month, we need a little fun horror, right? Not real-life horror that's happening in the real world, so let's take another escape into Dream World. Freddy's Dream World, right? Even though it's still so confusing. Like, is Jesse awake? Is Freddy resurrected? Like, what the hell is happening? Which, hey, makes for great conversations. Let's get started with talking about New Line Cinema's second entry in what would become one of the greatest franchises in horror, as well as film. Celebrating its 40th anniversary this year, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 2. Freddy's Revenge, with that chrome-colored lettering. I don't know about that. Released as fast as possible, immediately 1 year after the first masterwork written and directed by the great Wes Craven. This time, we have new inhabitants of the infamous Thomas house, focusing on the young son, Jesse, played by Mark Patton. And Jesse, of course, is having terribly nightmarish nightmares of this guy with a fedora and this sweater with a claw. Of course, we all know it's Mr. Fred Krueger. And Jesse finds that out soon enough, and with the help of his lovely friend who may be a girlfriend, Lisa, played by Meryl Streep. No. I mean Kim Myers. It's just amazing how much they kind of look alike. They can put a stop to Freddy Krueger terrorizing children. Oh, Part 2. I tell you, folks, it gets a really bad rep. Some even arguing it's the worst of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. But oh no, my friends, that honor goes to Nightmare 5, The Dream Child, personally. Even though there are things I still like about Nightmare 5, there are things I like about every single Nightmare on Elm Street, which is why it's honestly my favorite horror franchise. And so saying Nightmare 5 is the worst really doesn't say too much. But I will get to that one day. Nightmare 2 is honestly one of the more respectable ones, or at least the one that should be more respected, in my opinion. It is far, like way far out there from being perfect. Let's get that straight. Or rather, not straight. Because the fact is, friends, Nightmare 2 has been regarded by most as the gayest horror film of all time. Cracked Magazine did a list of the top 5 most unintentionally gay horror movies of all time, and Nightmare 2 was number 1 on that list. Nightmare 2 contains some of the most subliminally obvious signs of homoeroticism in a horror movie, which is such a great debate on who influenced it. If you've seen the brilliant long-form documentary Never Sleep Again, The Elm Street Legacy, they talk about it in detail with a lot of the cast and crew, but one thing is for sure, the film did have a script, an imperfect one, but they had a script written by David Chaskin, who worked in the distribution department of New Line. Producer Bob Shea loved the script enough because it was something different. And you know, I respect the fact that the script even continues on the lore of the Thomas house, bringing into effect that Nancy Thomas and her family lived there, and it still acknowledges the events of what happened in the previous film. Also, in this case of how different Jesse's character is very much the final girl, where he's the one being terrorized, as Freddy is using Jesse as a human avatar to kill. I'm personally not really a fan of that, but like I said, it's a different choice. And, you know, I'll go along with it. And Chaskin for the longest time has stated that it was unintentionally homoerotic, and the gay subtext was brought out by the actor Mark Patton playing Jesse, who is a gay actor. But at the time of filming, he was still mildly closeted. It was the time of the 80s where Mark just got a big break with working with director Robert Altman, Cher, Sandy Dennis, etc., and Come Back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean. And some actors were out, of course, but not all. So he didn't want any opportunities to be floundered, squandered, or even sabotaged just because he was gay, which you know what a thing for producers in Hollywood that was. And still is, actually. If you were out of the closet even then, they wouldn't use you as much. So Mark kept it quiet. But while filming, how do you explain the honest fact that in the script that Freddy wanted to get inside Jesse?
We got special work to do here, you and me.
The way he caresses his lips, my goodness. And then he's wanting to come out of Jesse. How do you explain Jesse having a board game named Probe in his room? A sign that says no chicks allowed. A scene where Jesse is being haunted by Freddy, so he goes out in the rain and ends up in an S&M bar, being served a beer by the producer Bob Shea himself, all dressed up in leather, looking somewhat good. And then catching his gym teacher, Coach Schneider, there, taking him back to the school to do laps and shower. Like, how is this so blatantly gay?
We made Nightmare 2 absolutely clueless that it had any gay overtones whatsoever. But looking back, it was so gay. It was amazing.
In case I haven't said, folks, yeah, spoilers ahead. I gotta for this one. It's too fun. But we get our first death scene with Coach Snyder, played with great commitment by Marshall Bell. I've always liked Marshall Bell. He gives every role 1,000%, which I appreciate, and he sold it to me when he's being attacked by his balls. And then dragged into the shower being slapped bare ass with a towel. What in the world? Like, I get it. It's gym, the showers, boy behavior. And that shit hurts, man. So we get a fun death, and then we get Jesse's great scream. Without a doubt, Mark Patton holds the great honor of being the first male scream queen, which he said he wears that proudly. However, what doesn't help is that Mark kept feeling more uncomfortable as shooting went on, recognizing that more homoerotic themes were seeming to be fleshed out in the script. Like that dance scene where Jesse is unpacking, good lord. Sure, that may be riffing on Risky Business, but yeah, sadly, it ain't cutting it. And this scene is sometimes played in gay clubs all over just cause it's right there. Mark didn't like that. Mark wanted to be taken seriously as an actor, which, in my opinion, he still absolutely is. My goodness. I still believe Mark Patton gives a wonderful performance as Jesse. When I first saw this film, I was a teenager myself, and when I saw Jesse, the character, I saw an outcast. I saw a character that is surely being haunted and maybe felt a little uncool. He's new, he just moved in, he's trying to make friends, doing whatever he can, at the same time staying at a pretty much a haunted house. And yet, Lisa still saw beauty in him. But then as I looked closer, I could see who Mark was. And in the context and subtext of this script, I could see perhaps Jesse struggling with his own sexual identity, his own sexual orientation, which, yeah, is very scary. Being a teenager in the 80s, oh, you know how it is, right? It would have been nice if this was all discussed with the whole creative team at the time of filming, wouldn't it? But apparently even its own director, Jack Sholder, didn't pick up on any of it. As second unit director Joel Soisson had stated,
all I can say is we were all incredibly naive, or all incredibly latently gay. I'm not sure which.
By the time of the documentary in 2010, Chaskin revealed that it apparently was intentional subtext, which makes sense, but still it would have been nice to have prepped for it while making this movie so it wouldn't leave everyone confused and basically a career ender for Patton. Even though this film did successfully, it still pigeonholed Patton as a gay actor. Bullied again, especially with the AIDS epidemic increasing at that point in time. Mark didn't just want to be pigeonholed as a gay actor, he wanted to take on straight roles as well. So at that time, when you were like outed, it meant you're only in one lane. But in retrospect, Mark revealed who he was in that role. Mark gave the character of Jesse so much to work with, feeling the inner pain, the inner turmoil. Mark was actually cast in this role over Christian Slater and Brad Pitt, for crying out loud. So you know this was casting at quite its finest for this role. Even though there are some hilarious moments scripturally here that honestly do not feel so intentional. Like the scene where Jesse is trying to get down and dirty with Lisa but can't because Freddy's enlarged tongue is trying to escape. So he heads over to Grady's, his best jock friend played by Max from Weird Science, Robert Rusler, who's great in this. And side note, Jesse makes his way into places way too easily. Like, how in the hell did he get into Grady's room so quietly? How in the hell did he get into an S&M bar without being carded? How the hell did he make it out of the school after the coach's death without security stopping him? Like, all these things are so unexplained, but whatever. Anyway, he goes over and they have this great exchange.
I need you to let me stay here tonight.
Are you out of your mind?
Something is trying to get inside my body.
and you want to sleep with me.
See what I mean? But we love it. We love it. I personally love it. I think it's such a great moment that was so unintentionally funny that it works. And it's not just that moment. Like, look at this first nightmare moment for Jesse off camera while his family is having breakfast.
Oh, honey, he's all right. He's just having a bad dream.
Like, that's a freaking bloody murder scream, Mom, played by Oscar nominee Hope Lange. Wow. Did she really need a job that bad? Incredible. Or how about this moment when the kids are having lunch at school and Grady says he's grounded? What's he grounded for?
I think my grandmother down a flight of stairs.
Jesse, I think you should eat something.
Wait a minute. So none of you are going to ask, why the hell did you do that, you freaking psycho? It's like you can't tell this was a joke, which, if it was, bad timing, man. But also, if it's not a joke, what the hell is wrong with you, dude? It's just hilarious to me how they completely overlook that line and just keep going. Or how about when Jesse gets back to Lisa's? He clearly has blood on his body and hands, reciting crazily and manically,
I killed Grady. I killed Grady. Lisa, I killed Snyder.
and Lisa, girl, she ain't doing anything. Like, Jesse, stay right there. Let me make a phone call and I'll be right back. You just stay right there. I get it. Like, she believes in Jesse and just can't believe Jesse would kill anybody. But I mean, come on. The dude is acting crazy. God, a lot of these scenes are just dopey. Like the bird attacking the family in the living room. What the hell is this all about? The pool party massacre scene. Oh my God. Useless. Awful. Where Freddy shows up in an unscary jump scare and attacks the kids while they're frickin' awake?
Yeah, I'm here to help you.
Help yourself, fucker!
What the hell is happening here? I agree with Wes Craven that when Freddy is out in the open while the kids are awake, you're completely shitting on what made Freddy terrifying to begin with. That he attacks you at your most vulnerable, in your dreams, in your subconscious. And when he's out while they're awake, out in the open, the power is taken away. It doesn't impact as much. We still get that badass line from Freddy with, "You are all my children now," which apparently was improv by Robert Englund. Oh, the great Robert Englund, returning as Freddy. Thank God New Line smartened up and brought Robert back as Freddy, because at first, Bob Shea, the producer, didn't want to pay Robert's new fee to play Freddy after the success of the first one, so they used a damn extra as Freddy. And you can still see him in certain scenes because they had no time to go back and reshoot too much. And good Lord, it is not Freddy at all. So they realized that Robert is Freddy and nobody can play him as brilliantly. Even though this was Robert Englund's least favorite nightmare film, each scene he has, though minimal, is so good. His makeup now being done by Kevin Yeager, giving him a new design of like a male witch with brownish demonic eyes and more bone structure, which was not my favorite design, but it was still really cool. Effects kind of took a back seat for this film, let's be honest. However, that scene of Freddy literally breaking out of Jesse, that scene holds up. Mark Sjöström's design for that scene was totally well constructed and still holds the most scares in that whole film. We still have decent performances from all the rest of the cast too, like Gulager as Jesse's idiot dad, which he and Jesse have been at odds the whole time, and they never really come together in the end, which, come on now, that's no payoff. But Clue and Hope Lange are great as the parents. Director Jack Sholder's second feature film was definitely a step forward for him here, with one shot and sequence in particular of Lisa being confronted by Freddy, who just broke out of Jesse, being very tense. It's also great props to Kim Myers for that scene as well, who definitely becomes the Grace to Mark Patton's Will, if you may. Though Nightmare on Elm Street 2 may not be perfect, it certainly holds a strong cult following within the LGBTQIA community, doing humongously well at the box office, grossing $30 million over its measly $3 million budget, and grows in respect all around the world. So altogether, I give New Line Cinema's Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge, A C-. Yeah, I can still really like and respect a film without giving it a higher grade. Come on now. If this is on randomly on the TV, depending on the scene, I'd drop the remote for a little bit, because Mark particularly is so good. He would make a beautiful documentary about his life behind the scenes, Scream Queen, My Nightmare on Elm Street, in 2019, which I highly recommend, where he has definitely come to embrace the love that has been built for him over the years after he quit Hollywood and became an interior decorator. But luckily his acting career is lightly revived, so I only hope greater roles will come his way soon. We live in a time now where LGBTQIA rights are welcomed in a little more in Hollywood and the arts. Specifically, obviously they're being attacked and murdered in politics right now, which makes it even more important to stand strong in who you are. Don't ever let anyone's ignorance steal your confidence, your dreams, your self-respect, your beauty. But anyway, now that I'm off my soapbox, friends, tell me, what do you think of Nightmare 2? Is this your favorite Nightmare on Elm Street film? Let me know in those comments. Like, share with all your friends, keep the love going, subscribe, and stay tuned for even more reviews and top 10s to come. Thank you all so very much for watching. And remember, folks, whatever you do, don't fall asleep.